So in this video, I'll show you how I built this exact outbound system for my first client for over 2K, and how the system helped them to ensure they had almost zero lead drop off. They had a much higher percentage of qualified leads coming to them, and they also had a much higher percentage of close rates, right? So how the system helped them, and these are some invoices as I can show you. Again, this is not Stripe, this is a platform called Skydo, so you can look it up, right? And a couple of reviews are these one. Again, this is just, you can see one total because this was my first client. So as you can see, the review was, I got a good review, and this is also in my website, so you can just see. So yeah, all of these systems will be in my resource hub, so you can grab it for absolutely free and you can just resell or the same thing, right? So yeah, let's start with the N8N automation first. So right now we'll be starting with the N8N automation first, and I'll be covering each and every aspect of it. After that, we'll be moving on to the GoHighLevel, and lastly the prompt, right? Okay. So let's start with, first of all, ads flow. So basically what happens in this is, once our lead submits the either Google ads, Facebook ads, or either even the website form, what it does is it takes that data and comes to these webhooks, either this one, or this one, right, depending. And they, first of all, we format the data, right? There's a lot of formatting, field normalization, as you can see. We append it, and after that we do some data checks, such as we check if the phone number exists, right? That is the main part, right? We check if the phone number exists, and if it does, we pass that data on to our voice agent, right? So once we pass that data, the voice agent calls the lead, and the next flows happen. So that's where the Google ads come in. And if it doesn't exist, we just add the lead to invalid database, right? So that lead is invalid, and it just, if the phone number is invalid, we can't do anything about it, right? So yeah. Okay, so let's start with the Google ads. So basically, again, I've covered all of these in my separate videos. I'll just skim over these quickly, right? So yeah, so basically what this does is, it first of all gets all the data from a form, right, as you can see. And after that, it just normalizes. Basically what normalization means is, it just formats some data, right, some according to this format, right, for further use and for ease of use, right? And this particular AI agent node, what this does it, we just tell it that you need to output if the phone number is present or not, and name, email, property. Make sure all of these are outputted, and this is the output format that we get each and every time. So phone number exists, true or false, and rest of the data, right, including property type, right? And we append that data to Google Sheet, and yeah, we first check if a phone number exists or not. So in case 0.1%, if there's some error in the form or something while submitting, and the phone number is not gone through, then this can be a case that phone number doesn't exist. And if it does, then we call the voice agent. Again, I'll come to the voice agent later on, but we pass leads number, we pass property type, and yeah, and it calls it. So this is the Google ads. And Facebook ads behave in the same way, right? Again, we do some normalization, we do the formatting, we append it, and we check the phone number, right? And at the end, we call the lead. Only difference being is that in Facebook ad, it needs two separate API calls to get our data, right? In Google ads, it's just one. So this just returns us our a page ID, form ID, leads and ID, and this basically it gets our data, right? So I've covered it in my one of my previous videos, so I go in detail how this works, so do refer to that. So yeah, Google ads and Facebook ads are mostly similar, except few minor details. So that's that. And what happens after, let's say, a call happens with the lead, if he is qualified, right? So we pass all the data after our phone call with the lead to this particular webhook. As you can see, it has a bunch of data, and we also pass if the lead is qualified or not, right, according to some parameters that the client decides. And according to that, we update the contact in GoHighLevel that if he's qualified, right? If he's not qualified, then he's not qualified, right? So according to that, further flows happen, right? So that's a SMS flow. This is a SMS AI agent. So this is connected to a GoHighLevel. If I show you quickly, right? This one, I'll come to this soon, right? So as soon as SMS comes, it comes over here, comes to our AI agent node, and as you can see, it's a big prompt, and basically it responds back to our lead, as required, and this response is sent back to GoHighLevel, and it responds back, right? So it keeps on responding, and this has memory using Postgres, and it has access to property search, right? This one. So how this has basically, we decouple this property fetcher to a separate workflow, and then we can just use the property fetcher, right? So that's the advantage. And yeah, that's all. So this is a SMS agent. It's a SMS follow, and this call connected, basically, let's say if a call didn't connect, or if it did connect, right? So in case if it didn't connect the call, what we do is, in our leads database, we just append the attempt count by 1, right? And the status, we put it as not connected, right? So this is the purpose of that. As you can see over here, we are just appending the attempt count by 1. We are adding it to the Google sheet, and yeah. And over here, call retry, basically this can happen every 1 day, 6 hours, every 2 days, right? So depending on the business, right? What we do is, first of all, we filter all the leads by the status, which is called not connected, right? This one, status not connected. After that, what we do is, we get all the leads, we filter them by attempt count less than 3. So we reach out to only those leads whom we have attempted to call less than 3 times. After that, we just kind of push them back a bit, and we reach out to them. We can reach out to them later on, but yeah, this is the filter. And then we pass it to our voice agent, which is this one, and it calls them, right? And then the whole flow happens again, SMS follow-up, SMS AI agent, right? So this was, again, property fetcher. Again, this I have covered in my previous video, so I won't cover this again, right? Basically, in short, what it does is, there is something called Accesso Zillow API, so you can search it up, right? So using that, we can get all properties according to the leads requirement right on the call, right? Either on the call, either on the SMS. So that's the advantage of having a property fetcher in place, and we fetch only the first 5 properties to the lead, right? So that's the point of property fetcher, right? So we covered almost everything, and right now I'll be moving on to GoHighLevel. So next up, I'll cover 2 of the GoHighLevel systems that we developed, right? So what these 2 systems do is, basically, this is for SMS nurture, and this is for SMS reply bot. This reply bot is connected to our SMS agent, right? So as soon as we get some some SMS from the lead, right, it comes to this particular inbound webhook and creates the contact, right, if it's new lead, and it passes that particular SMS, right, to the custom webhook. So what this custom webhook is, it is N10 based, right? So it passes over here, and then we get the reply, yeah, right, using our AI agent, right? We pass the reply to the GoHighLevel, right? So be sure of that. We pass it, and we send the SMS, right? And we wait for some time, right? So in this case, we were told to wait for 7 hours, right? So again, you can change it up. After 7 hours, we see if the contact replied, right? If the contact did reply, and we can also, there's something called, we can check the intent of the reply, how the intent was. So it's pretty accurate, right? For, I would say 95% it's really accurate, right? Or this intent check. So we check if the intent was positive or if it was negative, right? And based on that, if it was positive, right, so lead send us the a message, we replied back, and after that he again replied back, right? If it was positive, then we again come back to this. So this keeps on happening, right? If the response is being positive, or if it's not negative, such as stop, no, if that happens, we just stop it, right? So if the intent is not positive, then we add a tag called not qualified or nurture start, and we add it to the workflow. We add it to a separate workflow. I'll come to that soon, right? So if it's not positive, and if the contact didn't reply, right, we add another tag called not qualified and nurture start, again similar as that, and we add it to the same workflow, that is the SMS nurture, right? So this is the reply bot. So as you can see, it keeps on replying to the user if the reply is positive, and if it's not positive, or if the user didn't reply, it just adds it to SMS nurture, which comes over here. So as you can see, there are multiple um, tag triggers, such as not qualified, nurture start, qualified. Few of these are not yet made, might be they wanted to be done later on. So the client's requirement was only qualified or not qualified at the start, right? So probably nurture start can be done later on. So that's why you see the nurture start sequence is empty, right? So qualified is pretty straightforward. So before that, this is something called condition node. So basically we are checking for different tags, right? We are checking for qualified, we're checking for not qualified, and we're checking for nurture start, right? So it's different tags we check, and based on that, we there are separate branches that we can go to, right? So that's how it works. So this branch is for qualified. Again, this is a pretty straightforward. We send the SMS, such as we send the booking link, right? Thank you for your time, here's the next step, right? Whatever your next step can be, we send it over here. And as you can remember on the SMS reply bot, so let's say we send the SMS for the booking link, they book, and they have some query, right? Once they reply, it automatically comes over here, right? So it doesn't mean that there's nothing after that, the sequence has ended and there won't be any communication. So we have ensured that there is almost zero points from where the leads can leak out, right? So we have ensured that. So after the SMS, if the lead replies even after days, right, it comes to this flow, and it just we keep on responding back to the lead, however. So yeah, this is the qualified. And if the tag is not qualified, right, this is basically a bunch of nurture sequence, right? And again, this is heavily depending on your niche, on your business, on your use case. So what our client wanted was send couple of I would say 2 to 3 SMS on some time span. So right, so first of all, we are sending thanks for chat early. Even if now is not the time, I'll send you some quick market update. So as you can remember, this was real estate based, so quick market update, so you can stay in the loop, right? And we keep on sending the SMS, and at the end, the final SMS can be, don't want to bug you, if I will keep you updated if any so property type. So let's say if the user was looking for condos or apartment, right? If any apartment matches your price range, happy to text you when something something comes up, right? So this was a qualified, and you might be asking whether it's qualified and not qualified is coming for, right? So in case it comes from here, which is qualified and not qualified, this is one way, right? It comes from here. Other way is this is also connected to our voice agent, so we ensure that everything is interconnected. So I'll come to the voice agent soon, but yeah, Let's show you, add tag not qualified. So it can come from here, if the lead is not qualified, this whole flow happens, and the lead is qualified, it can come from here, right? So qualified, not qualified, and so yeah, this was our GoHighLevel, and next I'll show you how this all workflow is connected to our main voice agent, right? That's where the whole thing happens, right? So yeah. So coming to the voice agent, the prompt, I mean, again, I won't cover the prompt fully because I've covered prompt in almost every one of my videos. So again, this will be in my resource hub. You can just copy the prompt. But the main thing which I'll cover is the function, which is the update lead and the property fetcher, right? So what update lead does is it sends stuff such as qualified phone number, name, property type, location, minimum number of bedroom, all those details it sends to the update lead. What is update lead? It is this one, right? So as you can see, it comes over here. Also check if it's qualified or not qualified, right? Based on that, if it's qualified, we add the tag of qualified, it comes over here, the whole flow keeps on happening, right? That's the update lead, and this is the property fetcher. Again, property fetcher I've already covered. Basically what it does, it passes if it's apartment, what location it's in. Location can be either city or it can be zip code, right? Minimum number of bedroom, price range, if it's if what kind of status, for sale or for rent. So all these details we pass it and we get the property back, and the voice agent responds back to the user that way, right? So again, I'll just cover the whole flow again. So once the lead submits an ad in Google Ads or Facebook or website flow, it comes over here, does all the data processing, and if the phone number is present, we call the lead, comes over here, we fetch the properties for the lead according to them, and if they are qualified, we call this particular webhook, we pass the details, and if it is qualified, we update the tag of qualified over here, we send in the SMS, and that's all. And if they reply back, it comes over here and creates contact, all this happens, and this webhook is connected to again this one. So we get the response back, we pass it back to GoHighLevel, it responds back, and depending on if the response is positive, or even before that, if the contact did reply or not replied, based on that. So if they didn't reply, we added to another workflow, right? If they did reply, and if the reply was positive, we just go to this one. So we keep on responding back to them however they need it, right? So the leads don't drop off, we do ensure that. And if they're not, if it's not positive, such as stop or unsubscribe or something like that, we add the tag of not qualified, and we add it to this particular flow, right? So let's say if we want a longer nurture sequence, so let's say a lead is not ready to sell or not ready to move in the next 7 months. So on that, you can do something like a long-term nurture sequence, because there can be a difference between a short-term nurture sequence, such as we are trying to warm up the lead a bit more, but a long-term nurture sequence can be, it can be a different case. So that's why we have this particular branch ready to use. So that's where this whole tag comes in. So nurture start, but we, as you can see, this branch is not being used, but even though we are adding the tag because the client wanted, this is how to set up, because later on they might develop this flow, right, the nurture start sequence, and they do want the data to be correct. So that's why we adding this nurture start tag in each and every wherever required, basically. So over here and over here, right? So this was the whole flow, right? Again, the whole automation, right? So the whole N18 automation, my prompt, everything will be in my resource hub. So grab that. And for GoHighLevel, I'll just attach some screenshots, so you can copy from that, right? So yeah. So if you like this video, do stick around for more, as I have more advanced go high level stuff coming up, such as how to connect and attend to go high level, right, using the API, and inbound workflows and couple of more stuff. So stick around for that, and thanks for watching.